A man is lying on a cot inside a sleep laboratory at Stanford University. Electrodes run from his scalp to a recording machine beside him. His breathing has slowed. His brain waves are lengthening into the long, rolling patterns the machine recognizes as REM sleep. By every clinical measure available, he is deeply, unambiguously asleep. He knows he is asleep. Right now, inside a world his brain is generating from nothing, a world with no floor beneath it, no sky above it, no physical matter behind any of it. He is completely, deliberately, measurably conscious. Not groggy, not half aware, fully lucid. He knows his name. He knows where he is. He knows what he has to do. He moves his eyes left, right, left, right. A precise pattern he agreed with the researcher watching from outside the glass before he closed his eyes. The machine records the signal. The researcher receives it. In 1980, Stephen LaBerge sent the first confirmed message in human history from inside a dream. And what he found in the 25 years that followed was not what the world took from it. This is the LaBerge Effect. People had been reporting the experience for as long as people had been writing things down. Aristotle noted it in 350 BC in a short treatise on the nature of dreams. He wrote that sometimes, while dreaming, a part of the mind seems to watch from a distance and announce, what you are experiencing is a dream. In 1898, a Dutch psychiatrist named Frederik van Eden began keeping a journal. He documented every night his dreaming mind became aware of itself, cataloging the experience with clinical precision for 14 years. By 1912, he had recorded 352 of them. He was the first person to give the phenomenon a name. He called it lucid dreaming. Tibetan Buddhist monks had been practicing something they called dream yoga for over 1,000 years. A deliberate discipline, a method of carrying waking awareness through the threshold of sleep and navigating the dream state as a conscious act rather than a passive one. The records went back centuries. The experiences were consistent. Everyone who reported them described the same thing: standing inside a dream, fully aware of what they were standing in, able to think, plan, and act. But science could not touch it. A dreamer could tell you they were conscious inside a dream. They could describe it in precise detail when they woke, but while they slept, they were unreachable. There was no way to confirm the state was real and not simply a vivid dream about being aware inside a dream. LaBerge understood the problem. He had been studying sleep at Stanford for years when the solution came to him. During REM sleep, the brainstem sends a signal that paralyzes every voluntary muscle in the body. Every one. This is a protective mechanism that has existed since before humans were human, preventing the sleeping body from physically acting out its dreams. You cannot run when you dream of running. You cannot fight when you dream of fighting. The body is locked, except for the eyes. The eyes keep moving during REM sleep. They always have. It is literally how the stage got its name. And LaBerge understood that eye movements were voluntary, controlled by the dreamer, not the brainstem. If a lucid dreamer were conscious enough to move their eyes in a pre-agreed pattern, in a direction and sequence no random dream movement would produce while their brain was in confirmed REM sleep. That was a signal from inside. He learned to have lucid dreams reliably. Then he learned to signal from inside them. On the night the machine recorded his eye movements and the EEG showed unambiguous REM simultaneously, he later wrote that something in science shifted. The impossible had been demonstrated. For the next 25 years, LaBerge built the science from the ground up. He developed a technique called mild, mnemonic induction of lucid dreams. Before sleep, the subject would fix a single intention into memory with enough repetition to carry it through the sleep transition. Next time I am dreaming, I will know I am dreaming. Combined with waking after 5 or 6 hours of sleep, remaining conscious for 30 to 60 minutes, then returning to sleep, the technique gave the sleeping brain a primed instruction ready to fire the moment REM began. In trials, it worked consistently, reproducibly. LaBerge himself went from 1 lucid dream per month to 4 or 5 per night across 3 years of practice. He invented a device called the Dream Light, a sleep mask fitted with infrared sensors that detected the rapid eye movements of a REM sleep and responded by pulsing small flashes of light into the dreamer's closed eyes. The signal entered the dream as a flash of light, a cue, a knock on the door of the sleeping mind. The dreamer, primed to watch for unusual light, recognized it. They became lucid. He trained subjects to perform specific tasks inside dreams, a pre-agreed sequence of eye movements, a series of counting exercises, a gymnastics routine. while wired to EEG monitors in the Stanford Sleep Lab. The signals were received, the tasks were confirmed. Then LaBerge looked at what the brain was doing while those tasks were performed. A lucid dreamer who performed a sequence of clenching motions with their fist activated their motor cortex. The same region, the same firing pattern, identical to a waking person performing the same motion in the physical world. A dreamer who sang activated the auditory cortex in the patterns associated with hearing actual music while awake. A dreamer who navigated a familiar environment activated the spatial processing regions in patterns identical to physically moving through that space. LaBerge wrote it plainly in his own words. To the functional systems of neuronal activity that construct our experiential world, dreaming of perceiving or doing something is equivalent to actually perceiving or doing it. When LaBerge's research reached the public, the world ran with the obvious reading. You can control your dreams, you can fly, you can meet anyone, you can practice skills while you sleep, you can confront your nightmares and dismantle them. Lucid dreaming became a phenomenon, a productivity movement, a section in every bookshop. That reading was not wrong, but it was not what LaBerge actually found. His real conclusion was sitting in the data the entire time, written in his own words. He had demonstrated with electrodes and a recording machine and a man signaling from inside his own dreams that the brain uses identical neural machinery to construct the experience of a dream and the experience of waking life. The motor cortex fires the same way, the visual cortex fires the same way, the spatial systems fire the same way. The brain, LaBerge wrote, is a virtual reality generator. And here's the part almost nobody followed to its conclusion. If the brain uses the same processes to construct a dream that it uses to construct waking experience, and the only essential difference between the two is the source of the incoming signal, then what you experience as solid, continuous, objective reality when you are awake is also a construction. Your brain does not have direct contact with the world. It receives electrical signals from your sensory organs and assembles a model from those signals. It projects that model outward and calls it real. The dream feels real because the brain makes it real, using the same tools it uses to make everything else real. Waking life is not the opposite of the dream state. It is a better sourced version of it. LaBerge was not a nihilist. He did not say the world does not exist. He spent 25 years at Stanford and the Lucidity Institute exploring what consciousness could do when it understood what it was working with. He worked with people whose recurring nightmares had made sleep into a nightly wound. He documented cases where confronting a nightmare directly, possible only when you know you are dreaming, ended years of trauma that medication had not touched. In 2009, Ursula Voss at Frankfurt University confirmed what LaBerge had been arguing for decades. She studied 6 trained lucid dreamers in a sleep laboratory and found something no EEG had recorded before. Gamma wave oscillations running at 40 hertz, concentrated in the frontal regions of the brain, the regions responsible for self-awareness, logic, and executive function, firing during REM sleep in patterns identical to fully conscious waking thought. It was not sleep, it was not waking. It was a third state the brain had not been documented entering before. In 2014, Voss went further. Her team applied mild electrical current at that exact 40 hertz frequency to sleeping subjects who had never had a lucid dream. 70% became lucid within minutes, not through training, not through technique, through a current. The state could be switched on with electricity, which told you precisely what the state was. Right now, while you read these words, your brain is running its model of the room around you. The walls, the light, the surface beneath your hands. Everything you can see and feel and hear is a construction your brain is assembling from incoming signals and filling in with prediction and memory. It has been running this model without interruption since the moment you were born. Tonight, when your brainstem fires its paralysis signal and your eyes begin their rapid sweep behind your closed lids, your brain will run a different model. It will feel exactly the same. It always does. LaBerge spent his career teaching people to notice the difference, to look at their hands and count the fingers, to find a clock and watch the numbers shift, to look in the mirror and meet whatever is standing there, not to escape the dream, to understand the thing that makes both the dream and waking life feel equally, convincingly, unquestionably real. The machine in the Stanford Sleep Lab recorded its first signal in 1980. It is still running. The only question is which side of the glass you are on.